What is going on, guys? Welcome back to my channel. Now, the other day I posted an r/pro-revenge video which you all seem to love. So much so that a lot of the comments were telling me to take it one step further and go to r/nuclearrevenge. So that is what I'm bringing you today, the best revenge stories on the whole of Reddit. Here we go. Wife cheated, so I tricked her into publicly admitting to having the affair. This story is about 12 years old. I told it to one of my co-workers yesterday and he said I should share it to Reddit. Today he again nudged me, so here we are having drinks before the 4-day weekend and my writing is complete. So in college, I met the woman who I thought was my one. We dated for about 2 years and had a big wedding after a 10-month engagement. Her family was pretty well-to-do in a small southern town. We were both continuing our educations and I was also working to support us. I was pursuing a master's in engineering while she was finishing her doctorate in anthropology. Over the summer, an opportunity came up for her to make some extra money going as an aide on a religious studies trip to Jamaica. I didn't hesitate when she asked me about it. I mean, she was going to get to visit Jamaica and get paid for it. I saw no downside other than missing her being at home for 6 weeks. Little did I know at the time, but she'd been screwing the professor. He had hung out with us, smoked my stuff, and drank my freaking beer. I considered him a friend, who arranged the trip for a couple months, and it was a getaway for them to bang all over the island. I, clueless and happy, went about the weeks while she was gone, taking extra shifts, so I could match what she made in our accounts and surprise her. What an idiot, right? One of the students from the trip actually seeked me out to clue me in. I didn't believe him until I started looking for evidence on my own. I broke down and checked her text while she was sleeping and nothing was there. There were, however, a few voice messages, so I decided to listen and there it was. A message from that giant butthole saying how exciting it was that I almost caught them. I opened up her laptop and hit the emails after that. It was piles and piles of BS, making fun of me for not knowing, screwing in our bed and laughing about it. There was so much and I was so heartbroken. Still too hurt to take any action, I was lost. I had no idea what to do, so I sat on it for a couple of weeks and acted as normally as I could. I notice everything now. I felt so stupid for not seeing it before. There were so many signs. One stuck out in particular. I noticed that our stash of homemade lube, if you've never tried it, I highly recommend giving it a go, was going down even though we weren't having sex. It was obvious they were also using the fruits of my labor to get off more effectively. This really annoyed me, like unreasonably so, Hulk freaking mad. It finally all hit me. It was a goddamn joke to these buttholes and they were using the lube I made and screwing in my bed. I didn't hurt anymore, I just wanted to make them hurt. So while she was studying at the library, I made a new batch of lube. I put enough stuff in it for it to smell like normal, but I also added some poison ivy from our backyard to the mixture. And after refilling the spray bottle we used for application, I waited. A few days go by and I'm working extra so I can be out of the house more, and bam, bait taken. That night, after she goes to sleep, my plan goes into action. I sneak her phone away and delete my contacts while replacing his phone number in his contact as mine. I go to bed but can't sleep because it feels like I'm 5 and tomorrow is Christmas. Dawn arrives and she's in the shower. I get a text. "I'm super itchy, are you okay?" Now, Lord, now is my time. Look, I thought it had cleared up, but I guess I had a flare-up. I'm sorry, but I've got herpes, and I guess you do now too. I heard this lady squeak in the shower. I'm covering my mouth, dang near losing it. I went on to tell her that it was time to end things now. A new semester was about to start, and I kind of have a little crush on another TA. I wanted her mad. This is a woman that never got told no growing up, and never had to deal with rejection, let alone from a balding dude in his 50s with herpes. When she got out of the shower, it was obvious she'd been crying, but I could see the anger in her eyes. I could see how uncomfortable she was, squirming at the table, drinking coffee, and mulling the situation over. Another little nudge is what she needed. The reply she got to her pages and pages of anger and sadness was, "Thanks for the good times, but can you keep this a secret between us? I don't want to ruin my chances with anyone else." She's flush with anger now, just seething. She gathered her keys and headed out the door without even saying goodbye. I knew where she was going. I booted up her laptop and set it to reformat, deleting her dissertation and any notes pertaining to it before following her to campus. I parked a few lots over and rush over to his office where I find her screaming at him for giving her herpes. There's lots of people there. Professors, aides, students, other faculty. I'm dying. He is beyond embarrassed and confused as anything. She is ugly, crying in front of her peers. I'm in heaven. I didn't even care that people were going to think I had herpes too. The fallout was apocalyptic in their department. He lost his job due to the code of conduct at the university. We got divorced the following year. State law was we had to be separated for 1 full year before being granted a divorce. I got to keep most of the assets, primarily savings, and not a ton, but I worked for it. She never finished her doctorate and went on to be a perpetually pregnant housewife that sells Herbalife on Facebook, and he teaches high school now. It took a few years for it all to unfold, but watching it was glorious. Oh my goodness me, what a story. Not gonna lie to you guys, I had no idea that this subreddit would be so nuclear. I mean, I guess it's in the name, I'm just stupid, but wow, what revenge. I mean, all I can say is well done to this guy, right? I mean, a horrible situation to be in with your wife cheating on you, but what a way to deal with it. Fair play to you, sir. Moving on to our next story. Now, this one, it says radioactive in the title, so you know this is gonna be pretty nuclear. I wanted my father to understand I wasn't coming. My parents divorced when I was in 1st grade. Not only did my dad disappear like Houdini, he stole my mother's ATM card to her personal account and drained her dry. My mother, being the saint she is, didn't even bat an eye. She still was cordial to him and never said a negative word about him. To me, my dad, albeit abandoning us, was still my hero. From 1st through 5th grade, I had the usual abandoned by dad stories. Maybe 1 or 2 visits in a year and 50 times of me waiting by the front window with my suitcase packed to go to his house and him never showing up. My mum, through all of this, was supportive and never said an ill word about him, so he still stayed my hero. When I was in 6th grade, my mother finally remarried, and my father, who only had a picture of me at 8 months old in his wallet, went ballistic. Why? Did I mention he never paid child support? He would use his father's social, they had the same name, to get away with it. After my mum remarried, he let it be known that I was now my stepdad's responsibility. He cut off communication with me until I graduated high school. He didn't attend my graduation or send a card. What he did do was write me an email thanking God he no longer had to pay child support. He didn't anyway. What really broke me was his ruthless and brutal attack on my mother, attacking her weight, looks, teeth, and blaming any perceived negative traits that I had on her. For the first time, I realized what a cowardly POS he was. I responded in kind. He told me that I was no child of his and that I was a waste. After that, I vowed that I would hurt him. 10 years later, my father, not interested in my wedding or my son, reached out to me. You see, he is a diabetic and one of his organs were failing and he didn't have long. He's too far down on the list and he needed someone in our family to donate. NuclearRevenge activated. I answered his email. I met up with him and pretended that I didn't hate his guts. I went and got tested to see if I was a match. I was. I did the therapy and met with my doctors and his therapist. We scheduled the surgery. The day of the surgery, we meet at the hospital. I smiled in his face and let him know that I wouldn't be going through with the surgery. I watched the confusion line his face. I just wanted you to know that you're no father to me and you're a waste. I left the hospital and drive home. My mum was pretty annoyed with me that I took it that far. My father is dying and I will be attending the funeral out of spite. I will let everyone know what a POS he was. Oh my goodness me. Now, just for a little bit more information, OP has given us this. I have reached out to him before to invite him to my graduation, to let him know of my marriage and that he was a grandfather. All I got back was pictures of his new wife's kiddos. Upon getting to know him after agreeing to donate, I went to one of his therapy sessions at his request. There, I heard the story of the true reason he contacted me. I listened as he lamented about his impending death, how he was resigned to his fate, only to have his new wife remind him of his former kids and maybe one of them will donate. And he got excited because he had forgotten all about us, and it was like hope renewed. Do you know how trashy it is to listen to the person who is responsible for your very existence talk about forgetting your very existence? Like I was a pair of sturdy old boots that gathered dust in the back of the hall closet. Now rediscovered, I was to be worn to go shovel poop. I knew then and there I wasn't going to give him anything. Now I'm just gonna jump in here. This is actually Jack from the future. I've had a chance to rethink about this entire story and I have new opinions. So immediately after reading this story yesterday, I was a bit like, well, I kind of get it, but that seems incredibly harsh. You're pretty much sending your father to death. But after rereading it and thinking about it a bit more, I actually now think that this response was totally justified. Your father was absolutely disgusting towards you throughout your entire life and forgot pretty much that you even existed. Only did he call on you when he really needed you to help him survive, and for me, that's just not good enough. So after all that, I think that giving him some hope that you could save his life and then throwing him back down to earth was probably very justified. Guys, let me know what you think in the comments. It's a really tough one for me, but honestly, I think this probably was the revenge this guy needed. Anyway, guys, that is going to do it for this episode of r/NuclearRevenge. So that's r/ProRevenge and now NuclearRevenge. Would you like to see some more revenge subreddits? Let me know. With that being said, go and watch the ProRevenge video if you haven't done already. It's linked on the screen right now, so go and click on it and I will see you over there in just a matter of seconds.